Begin recording. Captain Caltoros, Legend Keeper of the Legion of the Corpse Moon. Personal log 352. Subject matter: Home. As our forces secure this ring world in the name of Atriox, my mind has drifted once more to Doisac, the home of all the brutes, of all Jiralhanae kind. The home that was taken from us by an outsider. As we wait for the reformation by our newest ally, I believe it necessary that as the legend keeper of my clan, I must recount the history of our lost world, so that when our legends are carved in the coming days, generations yet unborn will know what the galaxy took from us, and the price that will be paid for their defiance. Doisac was a beautiful world, beyond compare. Its tropical forests, harsh deserts, and fierce oceans covered half of its surface, while the other half was composed of molten rivers of rock, magma, and powerful volcanoes. There were times where I could almost taste the sulfur as it mixed with the rain during the most ferocious storms in my youth. And the temperatures, by Soyrapt, it would almost range from near freezing to grow so hot that it would set a rainforest ablaze. Weaklings would have called our home a harsh and unforgiving world. But the truth is that harsh worlds breed harsher creatures, harsher survivors, harsher warriors. And Doisac has, well, it had 3 natural moons: Soyrapt, Wariel, and Taish. We would settle on the latter 2 for generations, back when our greatness wasn't beaten into submission by despots. Doisac was once dominated by Master Pax and Skians, clans who fought like petty children. These clans were ruled by mighty chieftains, great warriors who maintained the spiritual life of their forefathers, as well as being able commanders, leading their brothers in battle. The Skyans were collections of these packs who share pathetic ideologies that nearly brought our species to ruin. Doisac was a war-torn land due to the senseless warfare between the clans, but we brutes were still a proud people in spite of this. We reached for the stars on our strength alone, extending beyond Doisac's skies and made its moons our own, and we stood on the precipice of unbridled expansion. But we were our greatest enemy. Our pride brought us into civil strife once more, and the Master Packs felled on one another like rabid thorn beasts. Inevitably, this led to a massive, pointless global war, known as the First Immolation. In the end, our world was ravaged by nuclear fire and nearly led to the extinction of our race. Not to mention, it had set our technological advancements back generations. What a waste of our potential. But that did not stop the bickering of our Skyans, as my grandfather once recounted to me his tale of the Battle of Grabraken, which had occurred not long after the First Immolation had ended. With our society in shambles, by the time the Covenant discovered Doisac nearly 70 years ago, we had only just rediscovered radio and rocketry. With no direction of our own, and no appreciation of our past, we made ourselves weak, empty vessels, ready to be filled with the Prophet's promises. They beguiled us with the illusion of their great journey and gave us rich and plentiful worlds as gifts for our holy devotion. But it was naught but another of their manipulations, so that we could give our lives for the glory of others, to fight and die for an empire that was not our own. Because of this, many of our brothers abandoned Doisac in favor of the Covenant's accursed holy city, and for decades we served, we fought, we died, all in the name of our masters. But as the war with the humans neared its end, the Covenant was torn asunder under the weight of the throne-bound treachery of the Zanshayum. And without the guidance of the prophets, or that of the witless chieftains that served them, the Jiralhanae people once again divided into clans bound by blood, oath, or mutual interest. Some fools attempted to assert these clans under their dominance in order to unify our shattered civilization. Palamon, Lydus, Caius, Akabe. They tried and failed in their endeavors. And without the supervision of the Covenant, we could not utilize the gifts the prophets left us, and we began raiding other species in the galaxy, as well as ourselves. The Ratals and the Veheloths, Skyans who long ago plunged our world into nuclear war, saw this as either a test of mettle or a necessary end to preserve our race. But I saw it only as a waste of our time, resources, and strength. In the years that followed, we continued to quarrel amongst ourselves over the Prophet's scraps, and while conflicts festered on Doisac's surface, the moons of Wariel and Taish hosted raiding parties and former Covenant shipmasters seeking a path forward. Though our society was fragmented, decades of the Covenant's domination had taught us the value of cooperation and planning, and gave us a sense of purpose and destiny. A destiny made manifest by Atriox, leader of the Banished. He showed us that our strength was not in false idols, but in each other. That our true purpose was not to bow to tyrants, but to stand proud together. A fortress built on the backs of slaves can easily be toppled. Ours would be a stronghold anchored by brotherhood and blood, built for ourselves, for each other. One by one, the clans of Doisac saw Atriox for what he was. A symbol of what our people could become. A dream for a new Doisac, reborn. But we were robbed of that dream by the apparition, the false god, Cortana. Nearly 2 years ago, she transmitted her demands of fealty across the stars and commanded all to submit to her rule. At first, we paid no mind. Our leaders were interested only in consolidating their power and raising their profiles in the Horde. But then, months ago, she sent her message to the War Master himself after returning to us from the Ark. Her damn message. Atriox, leader of the Banished. How do you stand? Do you know what his answer was? With the Banished. Always. Forever. He did not submit to the will of the prophets, nor would he submit to this false deity. But then, she did the unthinkable. One by one, her guardians ringed across Doisac like angels of death, and they pierced our world with their terrible power and rendered it asunder, blasting it to smithereens. Now, we're not only a divided people, but now We are a people without a home. A home that was stolen from us. But Cortana did not extinguish the fire that burns in the heart of the Banished. She only made us stronger. And then our presence spreads across the surface of this ring, this Zeta Halo, as we transform it into the new seat of power for the Banished, establishing outpost after outpost, totems of the strength of the Banished, under the banner of our mighty war chief, Escharum. Each outpost shall stand tall and proud, as we Banished do, in the memory of our lost world. The UNSC, an empire that too was built on the backs of slaves, and the creators of the apparition are extinguished. All those who remain are but frightened children, hiding in caves and derelict ships like the cowards that they are. And soon, they too will be ground into the dust of this world. Atriox promised us Halo would be ours and gave his life to ensure this. Now, we go to fulfill that promise, in his memory and that of Doisac, and all those we've lost to Cortana's treachery. Soon, this world will be our home, our fortress, our sword, and we will have our revenge. Blood sacrificed for Doisac, for the Banished.